You really think I'm about to admit that I'm wrong? I'm very, not only am I like very stubborn, but like I've got an ego. So chapter 1092, you know what I'm saying? It's finally dropped, and I'm just gonna, it almost looked like he was getting mollywopped the entire time. Like if it wasn't for that last panel of the chapter, this video probably would have went a lot more differently. Probably would have had to admit that I was wrong. The last panel, it gave me some hope that I was still right. Say, didn't I say in the last video that it was gonna be extremely high diff? I did say that, so let's just get into the review. Chapter 1092, Pirate Kuma's Rampage Through the Holy Land. So we start the chapter off back at the Holy Land, and we still have Kuma's tyrant rampage across the Holy Land of Marizawa. But what actually kind of threw me was that Akainu actually pulled up. I made a TikTok recently saying like when Akainu was gonna be introduced back in the story and actually like do something. I mean, like he didn't really do much here aside from like kind of halt his rampage, but like he's still back in the story. And I mean, just look at this guy's face, bro. Like he looks over it. Like actually looks over it. He doesn't like. There's a difference between when Akainu looks like angry and then when he just looks just like over something. Of course, of course, all they're worried about is their food. But like, what would you think? They're celestial dragons. What else would they be worried about besides their food and then their slaves? And then we just have this interaction between the two of them, and I mean, like look at his face. When have we ever seen him make a facial expression like this before? This entire story, like this entire story, right? Akainu has just been more of like just a hardcore justice, the like, oh, we kill, basically the whole, you know, kill everybody type thing, right? He's just gotten so much more humanity added to his character. This interaction between them, like clearly he knows like about Vegapunk, he knows that like Kuma's memories have been completely wiped. This whole interaction between them. Then he gets hit with a hellhound, but then he somehow, some way still ends up still moving from that. And mind you, Kuma's not even fighting back. He's literally just letting all this happen to him, still trying to get to where he's going. And I'm genuinely just wondering like where is he really trying to go? Because if he was trying to go to Egghead, I mean, that's kind of impossible to see Bonnie. So it's like, I don't like where in the Holy Land of Marizawa could he possibly be going? Then we get this nice little flashback here between Akainu and Bonnie, and then clearly Bonnie's met Akainu as well. And just like, again, look at the facial expressions he's making. It's almost like he's just like letting this happen just to see where he's gonna end up going, which I hope that's what I'm thinking that is gonna happen, because if this actually does happen, I want to see where he's going, because it would be such a letdown if Akainu just like one-tapped him and then we just never saw where he was going. But like I genuinely want to see like where he's going. And this cold line right here, you lost your will, your mind, everything. You're just a damn puppet now. That shit has to fucking hurt. Then we get back on Egghead. There are the Marines and the Sea Beast and all. They're still fighting. And then what everyone has been waiting for. Forget the rest of the intro of this video. This is what the people here came for. We have Luffy versus Akainu, and Luffy jumps straight to Gear Force Snake Man, and I mean, Akainu is not even breaking a sweat. And look at Luffy. Look how much Luffy looks drained. And then I said this in the Luffy vs Kizaru video. I said this would be extremely high diff. So him sweating like that doesn't really mean anything to me. I'm more just worried about the fact, like, bro, Kizaru was just blocking these attacks with ease, but I mean, it's just Gear Force Snake Man, and you have to have Future Sight in order to block them because of how fast that they move. So clearly, Kizaru has Future Sight. I mean, he's an admiral, why wouldn't he? So I'm not, like, this panel had me like a little scared about my prediction, but like I still think my prediction holds strong right here. And then they're still going with this, and like, I mean, he's just blocking them with just, like, look at this. Just absolutely just no diffing him in Gear Force Snake Man. And then this is what I said about Kizaru and his mid and long range attacks. And he's just charging up a laser and then just instantly just absolutely, you know, one of the caveats in my video was if Kizaru speed blitzed him, and like that was a speed blitz. I can't even lie. I literally can't even lie. And look what he said. He said, after all, speed is power. And whether that confirms that he's actually light speed or not, that's up for debate. But like, just look at how badly he's getting no diff right now. Like it actually looks really bad. But here was something interesting. right? The Vega Force 1 gets like fully no diff. Like they're all just utterly in shambles right now, right? Kizaru's no diffing all of them. And then obviously Luffy gets pushed away, right? But then as we keep going down, we get past all this dialogue between them, something interesting that happens. Then we get to this panel right here. Luffy goes into Gear 5th, he grabs him, and again, finally goes into Gear 5th and grabs him, right? But then look at the last panel right here. I'm just gonna full screen this. The ancient weapon, or ancient beast, ancient warrior that's down there, right? He hears the drums, and then his eyes, they start to glow. That's crazy. And then, thankfully, there's also no break this week. So clearly, I guess it's not really that crazy that Luffy is able to control or have domain over the ancient weapons, the ancient warriors. Because like if you think about this, it could just be the fact that Joy Boy's presence finally awoke it, or just Joy Boy's hockey and like the whole electricity. Like hockey is basically electricity, so that just giving off in the air was able to power that. I'm really leaning more towards the fact that just Joy Boy's presence and then him hearing the drums is what allowed this to reawaken. So are we gonna see a tag team between Luffy and then the ancient weapon? It'd be an interesting thing. But am I ready to say that Kizaru defeated Luffy? Absolutely not, because clearly he got back up in Gear 5th and literally is damn near choking this man to death. And what's also kind of funny is that literally everyone's eyes did the whole little Looney Tunes cartoon-esque thing, and like everybody was just shocked like that. Because I mean, it's probably only the second time. I'm pretty sure it's probably the first time like they've really been able to like see it. But like the actual like first time, like they just had like a glimpse of it. But now they truly see like with their own eyes, like, oh my gosh, like that's Luffy. And then we're gonna get some really interesting dialogue with Vegapunk right here. And I really hope he finally explains like what Luffy's devil fruit like really like what it really is. Because like obviously we know, but like now we like really get to see and hear from Vegapunk himself what the Hitsuhito no Mimaru Nika like really truly is and what it embodies. And then he's also gonna notice that the warrior, the weapon down there, is finally awoken now. He shows up. It's an ancient weapon, you know, Joy Boy. He's gonna put the two and two together, and we're gonna get some explanations with that. So am I ready to say that Luffy defeated Kizaru or Kizaru defeated Luffy? No, this fight's still going. Luffy is still going to win this fight, but like I said, it's just going to be extremely high diff, guys. Extremely high diff. But let me know what you guys think, because like I said, it's gonna be a good fight. Now he's in Gear 5th. He was not trying before. Luffy, he wasn't trying before. This is where the real fight begins. One more thing I wanted to point out, though. It's about Kizaru's character. We see in the beginning of this, he's like full on ready to go, ready to fight. He's fully focused, especially like between like him and Luffy, he's really ready and fully ready to fight. But like the moment that he sees Vegapunk and Bonnie, he really didn't want to do this. He literally says it here, please don't make me hurt more of my old friends. Just like with Akainu adding more depth to his character, just more humanity to him. A lot of the things that the admirals really lack, right? And he zips in, finally sees Vegapunk, and then we all know you can only use observational haki when your mind's like fully focused and you're not distracted. So clearly he's distracted and he's having a conflict between seeing Vegapunk and then obviously, you know, everything else is going on. Is why Luffy was able to get behind him and in Gear 5th and do this, right? That's another thing to consider. That Kizaru's mind in all of this is just completely he's just out of it. So that's going to be interesting as well to see what happens in this next chapter. So let me know what you guys think, and yeah.